President Treasurer's report. A couple of things. We'll start from the light one and we'll go to the one that's a little bit more local, a little heavier. By now, everybody has probably seen the thing that they're doing on TV called that Sharpie Gate thing with the President of the United States. Just a little bit of information on it if you didn't hear it for some reason. The President of the United States.
The what of the United?
Yeah. The President of the United States went on TV with a small map showing the path of the track of Hurricane Dorian. And outside of what was given to him by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, he had a additional small little line that was written outside what the scientists gave him to illustrate how the storm surge and the storm damage could reach this great state of Alabama. Okay, after which the National Weather Service put out a blurb through text and emails like, no. Hurricane Dorian will not be reaching all the way over to the state of Alabama. After which time, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration chided the National Weather Service, which works up underneath them, and told them, no, you shouldn't be contradicting the president. The president said it was going all the way to Alabama, and that's pretty much the way it is. And the reason why I bring that up is that this is one of the reasons why communities like ours need to come closer together. If there's somebody in the federal level, even though we're a little bit buffered from it, is leaning on organizations that they control to tell other organizations that they paying, that's armed and that's staffed by scientists who got master's degrees and doctorates, and they say, "Lo, we didn't chase this hurricane. We know where it's at. It's coming here." And with the stroke of a pen and a phone call, he can get somebody to muscle some folks who had the truth and make them lie publicly. That's a problem for everybody. Right. So just so that everybody knows, there's something that we need to make sure that we insulate ourselves from the federal government and the losses there. So let's see. Second thing though, recently the Wayne County Treasurer's Office had an issue just recently with a rejected FOIA request. There was a FOIA request that was placed out by an organization asking to get an understanding to see what the policy was to send properties, to take properties from people and run them through the foreclosure process through the county. The Treasurer's Office rejected it and forwarded that group to request an appeal from the Executive's Office with regard to the rejected FOIA request. After a little bit of time, Warren Evans' office was like, let's pretty much send out some information in writing saying there isn't any hard policy on the Treasury and how they deal with moving properties from people and putting them into the auction. They don't have a policy for that in writing. I bring that up to foreshadow the conversation we plan on having today, and just to let people know that's something that we need to kind of watch. If something like that going on, and there's no hard policy for it, we kind of need to watch. We need to get some action. So I'm going to be asking them. We'll be putting some more FOIA requests in myself. I placed one a little bit before this meeting that I haven't gotten an answer on yet. So we'll see how it goes. Other than that, Treasury real quick. Last time we had about $190 in the Treasury. We got another $44 from yesterday's meeting. I talked to Mr. Quates and Jack about what was going on with Treasury. So we put a little bit more money in there. We put another $200 in there between us. So we're back up to like $440. Well, $444. But we're going to go ahead and try and come up with, so I want to try and put together a small panel to get back into fundraising. We were doing a really good job of fundraising at one point. We had well over $1,000 in Treasury always, even after expenses. So that has fallen to the wayside, so we got to get to work on that. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have for those two reports. Unless anybody has any questions, I'm going to take a motion to accept it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy to be with you this morning, and you caught me standing up passing out some census information. One of the things our city has to do is do a better job at being counted in the 2020 census. We were grossly undercounted in the last census, which cost us megabucks. So it is important that we get the word out to our friends and neighbors that there's nothing to be afraid of with the census information, because the government can only use it for data gathering. They cannot come after you for any reason using census information. You'll hear more from us as the days go by, because we're getting our complete count committee together so that we can begin to work very hard in the city. I would like to thank Nan for your participation in the backpack giveaway. I don't know how many backpacks we gave away. We gave away hundreds and hundreds of backpacks to children who we hope are enjoying them during the school year. And we are slated to get more, so we'll let you know if there are more available to give out. Maybe we'll do something mid-year. This coming Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. at City Hall, I'm hosting a listening party. It is very important to me that I hear what the residents have to say about what's going on in their town, what they need, what they would like to see going on, etc. So this is my way of touching base with the citizenship of the city of Inkster to make sure that my voice becomes your voice, because I don't have a special agenda. My agenda is to help the people of my city. That's all I have. I would like to invite you to go home quickly and get all your mail and stuff that's old and come to AKA Shred Day at the Rec Center. We'll be there until 1. The shredding is free, so you don't have to pay anything to get all of that stuff shredded.
No limit.
No limit either, because I have a back seat full. My son brought his to me, I have my own. So there's a great opportunity for the citizens to participate in that. I don't think I have anything else. Just to let you know, there's some exciting things coming in the city of Inkster. Anything that's put together well takes a little time. But once it's unveiled to the public, you will be excited about the opportunities we are going to offer our citizens in the realms of housing and workforce development. Because without those opportunities for our citizens, we will perish. That is all I think I have. Don't forget Tuesday, 6:00, City Hall, listening. Thank you. I am a candidate for City Council. I represent District 6, but technically, the way I get phone calls and cries for help, I represent the city. I would like your support for me as I embark upon, hopefully, my second run as a council person for the city of Inkster. I think I already said my platform. I don't have an agenda. My agenda is the people's agenda. And that's what's important to me, because number one, I am a citizen of this city, and whatever happens to you happens to me too. So it is very important that I just be a voice for the citizens of the city. I am working very hard with other entities to bring things to the city that will help uplift us all. And that's all. I'm not a big campaigner. I'm here. This is me. My work should speak for me, and if you have any questions, I'm free to answer them at any time. 313-330-1621. 313-330-1621. That's how you can reach me the fastest. District 6. I'm representing District 6. All right? Thank you.
There's another candidate that came through the door, so I want to give her an opportunity since she already right up front. Ms. Gina Washington is one of the candidates that made it to the primary. She's going to be running for District 2. I want to give her a minute to come up and speak to everybody. Yeah, you.
That just threw me off. Didn't know I was talking. But my name is Gina Washington, and I'm running for District 2. I made it through the primaries with 52% of the votes. So that door knocking actually helped me. Did a lot of grassroots and organizing that way. The reason why I want to run for city council is because I want to be able to bring more quality of life programs here for our seniors. It started for me in 2015 when I started to take care of my grandparents, and I noticed there was a lack of resources here in the city. Also, I wanted to also bring a youth program here dealing with 21st century, trying to bring a 21st century vocational school district here in the city of Inkster. It's really important that while we are fighting with the situation with the school districts, that we have some sort of education here for our kids. We do have charter schools, but that's something that I really wanted to bring to the city of Inkster. And also a creation of a youth commission in the city of Inkster. So hopefully, I have you guys' support, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Okay, thank you so much. Gina Washington, candidate, District 2. We are also blessed with the state rep being here. Yeah, you're eating right now, but we're going to bring that young man up. We always glad to see him. Representative Joel Jones, come up, have a conversation with him.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm happy to be here. This is a historic place for me, so y'all know when I was running for city council and state rep, St. Clemens, we was doing fish fries and all kind of stuff. So, I got mad love for the family over here, but I'm happy to be here. Right now, we just started session back at the Capitol, so we're working on the budget right now. We typically get done with the budget in June. Unfortunately, because we did some things regarding like auto insurance and a couple other deals that were cut beyond our control, the budget is actually still not wrapped up, and we're getting close to the beginning of the fiscal year that's going to be in October. So hopefully we get it wrapped up soon, because if we don't, we might run into a government shutdown here in the state. But that's really the biggest thing going on right now, so we're trying to work through that. We've been working closely with Mayor Nolan and some of the other cities that are involved, Garden City, Livonia, Westland, Dearborn Heights, trying to figure out some of the budget needs. So I'm sure he keep you updated with all those things, but just continue to send out good thoughts and prayers for us that we can get this done and that we can coordinate a little better. Because as you know, we had the governor's the Democrat, but the House and the Senate is still controlled by Republicans. And so it's been a bit of a headache working through the different chambers. But hopefully we get it done so we can actually keep things rolling. I don't know if anybody has questions. If not, I'll go back to teaching my class.
I would just like to say I'm glad that you stood with the governor when it came to those vapor.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But that made a statement, and I'm very appreciative that folks dying all over the place.
Yeah, it's been a lot of issues happening with the vaping, and I think we all know like cigarettes are bad. Those haven't been banned. Alcohol may be bad. So, I think the abuse or misuse of some of these things are bad. And so of course the black market still exists, so it's still a way for some of our young people to get to these things, but at least stopping it from the legal standpoint where they can really access it, I think was a good move by the government. So we just wanted to kind of show support, and get behind it. So thank you. Right up. Wonderful.
I do appreciate our state rep. That brother's everywhere. I see him all over the place. So supporting, make sure y'all give that man the support he needs out here. We're working. It's truly a blessing to have somebody from our city that's in that type of office.
Yeah.
It speaks to the talent that's in this community. It speaks to what we can be as a community if we go ahead and get to work out here. So support that brother. He's opening the door for a lot more stuff to happen. Another candidate just walked through the door. She's coming into I'm trying to get to the other parts, but once we get started, we're going to get started. So, Ms. Kelly Lindsay is running for District 5, City of Inkster. She came through. I'm going to go ahead and give her a minute to address everybody, let her know what you know what it is, what she's trying to do. No, don't sit down. Don't sit down. Ms. Kelly Lindsay, District 5.
All right, thank everyone for having me. I
I had no idea I was going to speak so immediately, but I am Kelly Lindsay, running for District 5 here in the city of Inkster, and I'm happy to be on the ballot to represent the citizens here of Inkster. I like to think of the position to be a conductor, because at many levels of politics, I like to say that I like to reach the residents first. I'm the first. Come to, yes, a first responder. Come to me first, and then we can go up there. We're reaching back. How dare someone in office, higher up, let's just say, and not reach back. So I'm the one that they reach back to, and I reach back to the residents to see what the issues, the concerns, and what I'm able to do. Thank you very much again for having me so impromptu. Maybe I'll be able to say something a little more, you know, just coming fresh off my walk. I haven't even caught my breath yet. But I appreciate the time.
All right.
All right. At this point, I'd like to, if anybody has anything for the greater good, I want to give them an opportunity at the floor. Other than that, we've got some keynotes we're going to go ahead and get started with. Oh man, I tell you what, the president of the NAACP is here. I heard that Ms. Gina. Gina is doing a fantastic job. She'll let you know as soon as she gets up here. But I want to give her a minute to go ahead and speak, Ms. Gina.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Gina Stewart, president of the Western Wayne County branch of the NAACP. And as we said, we're doing a lot of great things, but I just want to tell you about 2 initiatives that we have going on right now. We're doing our Activate 10,000. 10,000 is basically the number of votes that Donald Trump won Michigan by, people who didn't vote. So we're trying to activate 10,000 people over the course from now till November of next year. And we've actually been doing pretty good. A lot of people say they're registered to vote, and because we have that ability to look them up in VAN system, the Voter Activation Network, we give out these little yellow cards to all these people and have them fill it out with a commitment that you're going to vote in the 2020 election. And if you have one in November, the presidential primary is in March, and then again we're back to November. And then we look them up and they say they're registered, and they may be, but they didn't vote. So those are the ones we're doing extra outreach to make sure that they are involved in the election process. So if you see these yellow cards around, please fill them out and then get them back to us, and that way we'll reach our 10,000 goal. The other thing we're doing is also, we do voter registration. We're going to be at a lot of the libraries and the Western Wayne Family Health Center as well. But our biggest thing we have going on right now is our Freedom Fund dinner, and I just want to let you guys know who our honorees are. It's October 20th, and it's in the city of Allen Park, which we cover 24 cities, so we're moving around. And our Lifetime Achievement Award is Mr. Roy Wilson. He was the president of the Inkster chapter, which is same Western Wayne, from 1960 to 1970. So he's our Lifetime Achievement Award. Glenn Anderson is our Serving the Community Award winner. He is the Wayne County Commissioner. And then a young lady named Jayla Washington. She is our Young Persons Award, Community Outreach. And Seeds to Feed is our Community Outreach awardees. And I'm missing one more. Oh, Freedom and Justice is Judge Deborah Thomas. So those are our honorees, and so you'll be hearing more about that, but the event is October 20th in Allen Park. All right, so that's all I have for today.
All right. Okay, other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get us to the rally portion of our event. Our executive director is going to be taking over for that particular portion. Ready?
Fired up?
Ready to go!
I hear you. Fired up?
Ready to go!
Fired up?
Ready to go!
Fired up?
Ready to go!
We are the National Action Network, and our job is to take action against injustice. I'm going to be very short because we want to talk about Inkster's Neighborhood Stabilization Program. Our mayor is here to take questions for that. We want him up in 2 minutes. So here we go. I got to preach the gospel in 2 minutes. One issue that Nan had been called upon to take action was the treatment of Mr. Myers by the Royal Oak Police Department. Did everyone see that video, or do you at least know what happened?
Yes, we did.
Royal Oak police were called by a white woman that said a black man looked at her suspiciously. Who does that sound like? Say it again. Say that name loud. Who does that sound like? Okay, is this 1949 or 2019? I can't tell the difference. Councilwoman Tasha Green gave us a call. She's mobilizing our organization as well as others. It's on hold until we hear back from Mr. Myers' attorney. We don't want to overstep his attorney. What has happened, the family is happy with the actions that the chief of police has taken so far. We've been advised that the officer that came on the scene that detained Mr. Myers and asked him for his ID has resigned. We hope he was forced to, but he has resigned. So we should be happy, folks, because the guy that was killed in New York, they're just not firing him 5 years later. So he has resigned. The supervisor who was called on the scene, who was dismissive and rude, is being punished. They will not disclose how because of his privacy rights, and the other officers that came are on review. So we may be called upon to go to their city council meeting and express our displeasure. We have to show up, folks. Pony up. If you don't have this t-shirt, put on a black t-shirt. We show solidarity, we show unity, and we let them know we're not going to have it. So be prepared to get a text message from me saying we ride out. Now, are you going to go if we ride out? We'll pack out their city council meeting, confront their chief of police, confront their mayor, and let them know this is 2019, not 1949. The other issue that we're going to talk about today, we get all kinds of complaints, is the ACLU called a meeting with us saying that Garden City Police had come under their radar. They did a 1-month study of Ford Road and determined that Garden City Police stops more black people than any other nationality. So they were trying to gather enough steam to start a lawsuit. Now when they came to us, we said, why are you not suing Wesleyan? That's who we get our complaints from. We really had not gotten any complaints on Garden City Police, even though some of you have seen the sign that Garden City had up years ago. There's never been Negroes here, and there never will be. Oh, okay. If you haven't seen that, I'll show it to you. It's all over Facebook. But the ACLU brought that to my attention. It wasn't from Facebook. They told me, did you know Garden City had that sign up for years at the border of Inkster? So now we have gotten an egregious complaint against Garden City Police by one of our own members, who was stopped on a routine traffic stop. Her purse was in her trunk because she had been working with children in the park earlier. So her ID was in her trunk. This officer, the officer stopped her, would not tell her why he was stopping her. She rolled her window down slightly and gave him her registration and insurance information. He demanded that she roll her window down more. She said no. He insisted. He asked to search her car. She said, no, you cannot search my car. So then he proceeded to have her arrested, would not let her get her ID out of her trunk. And to make a long story short, because of the interest in time and what we are here for, They arrested her, caused her to have to go to the hospital. Garden City officers were in her hospital room waiting for the doctors to release her so they could take her to jail. The doctor said, "Why is she handcuffed?" Traffic stop. The doctor had to tell the police, "We will not release her to you." She told the doctors and nursing staff, "I don't feel safe for my life if you let me go with them." The doctors had to save her from the Garden City police, y'all. They got to court for the first preliminary hearing and had all kind of trumped up charges. Assaulting a police officer, one of them. Now they got her in handcuffs. And they won't let her get her ID. Unable to identify herself was one of them. Would not remove her sunglasses was one, but she's in handcuffs when they asked her to remove her sunglasses. And so this officer charged her. The main charge was assaulting a police officer. And I just want you to understand that when we have a bad experience with the police, if we exercise our constitutional right not to let them search our property, it's an insult to them, but they call it an assault. And that's the second time we've had a complaint where a citizen has not allowed the police to search them without a warrant, and the police said that they were either obstructing justice or had assaulted them. So, here we are again. This is our very own Inkster. This is one of our members. I don't know if she's even in the room. She's here. Oh, there she is. Okay, Tangi, you want to raise your hand? We are going to have to go to court with her.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are going to have to show up in court with her. We're going to have to help her file the complaint, and the ACLU will be taking her statement. So I'm going to leave it with this. You'll be called upon. Tangi, do you have a court date? Yes. What's the court date? Okay, so you'll hear from me on the court date that we're going to go. What? No, okay, you'll hear from me on the court date. We have to go with her. Let me see right now. If you're able to, who's going?
Oh, I can go.
If you're able to, who's going? Okay. All right. And then we'll call on our other members that's not here. And the ACLU will take complaints from anyone else. Is there anyone in the room today that has a complaint against Garden City Police? Yes? Oh, all right. So if you know of anyone that has a complaint against Garden City Police, please let me know. We'll put them in touch with the ACLU. So without further delay, we're here to talk about Inkster State neighborhood stabilization. We're going to ask our mayor to come forward. He's here to answer questions. There are a lot of rumors. Some are rumors and innuendos. Some are accusations that's just not true. But we're going to find out. The mayor's he's here. He's here. I was hoping the whole community would come out and really ask their questions of him. And I'm asking you, and I hope he's okay with this, don't hold back. Don't ask no penny ante questions. If you got that question in your head, ask it. All right? All right. Fired up?
Fired up!
Ready to go?
Ready to go!
Thank you, Mayor Nolan.
Good morning, good morning. It's a pleasure to be back in front of you. I was here, I think it was July. Yep. You know, we had a nice long session. I think we went way too late. We're not going to do that today. We got football games starting at 12. But I'm here because there were some complaints, additional conversation need to be had with respect to the Inkster Neighborhood Stabilization Program, which I brought to the city, so I am responsible for. I think Sammy has some issues. Jihad has said something to Crystal. I want to make sure I give you all the information I have. Doesn't mean you're going to love everything I say, but I'm going to give you all the information because I want to make sure we're transparent as a community. In addition to that, you know, we all see a lot of stuff on social media, a lot of things going back and forth. I see Pastor Crawford here. I saw some comments from him yesterday. I want you guys to ask any question about anything because I'm the mayor and I'm accountable to you, period. So it does not matter what you ask me. I will answer to the best of my ability. About anything, stuff you see, stuff you hear. It's a lot of nonsense. I'm passing out a flyer. It's been so much craziness in this election series. I created a flyer to try to address as many of the rumors as I could. I could only get, I think, 9 of them in the back, front and back. There's more. They keep coming. I saw some yesterday. from some social media posts, and I just kind of laughed to myself. But we try to address some of the rumors with just facts. And I want to assure you, no matter if you ever see anything that I sent you or somebody sent it out on my behalf, it will be straight facts. I won't be dramatizing, I won't be creating stuff. It'll just be facts. You know, people may not like to hear them, but information is information. I don't like to hear negative stuff about me, but it is what it is. And I understand that politics is a full contact sport, so I'm not asking for your sympathy. I put myself in this position when I decided to run again. So I'm here. Who's got the first question? I know Sammy asked the question. I definitely want to talk about that, about the stabilization program and the access that people from the community have to that program. Yeah. Who has the first question? And even if it's not your question, if you heard someone else ask it and you want to get it out in the public, feel free to
I'd
ask.
like to get this out in public of the suing of the residents.
Yes.
I heard firsthand, we have documents that you were suing residents when you first were elected.
When I was first elected in 2016, most people know this situation, especially Dan, because we addressed it before. Larry Motley is the president of Southwest Block Club, and Ken Hudson, for whatever reason, we've never had a crossword, never had any issues. When I first got elected, I think we were talking about the charter issue, trying to change the charter. I believe they were against it. So they pulled a picture of me off of Facebook. I didn't even post it, somebody else posted it. I was at the NAR bar smoking a cigar. It was somebody's birthday party, so I was hanging out smoking a cigar. You can see the bar in the background. So they took the picture off Facebook, copied it, put it on flyers, and then went out to Inkster Road, Michigan Avenue, and passed out flyers, told everybody I was smoking weed, big blunts, Philly blunts. So they were just trying to tarnish my name. In an effort to get them to stop, because neither one of them have a quarter, I decided to sue them for slander and defamation. So, maybe I was a little too sensitive, but I'm an attorney. When somebody accuses me of committing a crime, it has license sanctions on it. I have the Michigan Bar I have to answer to, as well as I make a living based on my reputation. So that really bothered me because I don't even smoke marijuana. So if I did, I would tell you. You know, it is what it is. It's legal now, but I don't. So for them to maliciously, knowing I was at, because the caption said after NAR bar hanging out with somebody, so they did that maliciously. I thought that was over the top. That was me. Maybe I was too sensitive, but I filed a defamation suit. The suit was later dismissed. The judge looked at me and said, hey, you the mayor. They can say whatever they want to say about you. When you're a public figure, the standards are different. Right. People can make up lies about you. It doesn't make any difference. You are a public figure. So basically, you just got to live with that. So, okay, and that's what happened. So I sued those two people who happen to be residents, and I don't know if I'd do it again based on my experience, but that's what the situation.
Can I ask that we keep the questions focused on the neighborhood stabilization program at first? And then we will go to other questions.
Just real quick, and I think the equation was trying to be made that Mr. Wembley is suing the Inkster residents and everybody on city council, so the mayor sued residents too. I think that's what they were trying to point out, you know, which obviously is two different things. Those are apples and oranges. I mean, right now we're being sued, all of us are being sued for money because their license was not renewed. I believe we're going to win because the city didn't do anything wrong in that case. A lot of the allegations that came up in the suit are stuff that have nothing to do with why their license didn't get renewed. So if you have a chance to read the pleadings, you'll see all these crazy allegations, but the bottom line is should you have received your license or not. That's what it comes down to. And as far as that goes, the city didn't do anything wrong. We'll see what happens in the case. Hopefully it'll be over in the next 4 or 5 months.
Would you just extend the reasons why the city did not renew?
Sure.
That's important for the people to understand.
They're on the flyer handout, but basically so everyone who's watching on Facebook Live or whatever, our city ordinance, Inkster Ordinance 858, says you cannot have any criminal convictions. In 2016, we issued the first city license for a medical marijuana dispensary to Sweet Bee Dispensary. And we all, I think it was a 5-2 vote. Council approved it. I voted in favor of it. We wanted Mr. Wembley to have a license. Later that summer, unbeknownst to us, he got charged with 2 crimes in Ohio. And he was convicted of both of those crimes. He pled guilty, I'm sorry. 2017, it came up for renewal. At that point, our police department was doing the criminal background checks through the Clemens system. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that's the state police system. They ran a criminal background check, nothing came back because his convictions were in Ohio. So we reissued the license, we kept it moving. None of us knew anything about the convictions in Ohio. He hadn't shared that with me, at least, that's what I can say. 2018 came up, the state clemency system won't allow us to run criminal background checks anymore for things that are not involved with a criminal investigation. So if you want to just do a criminal background check because you're hiring an employee or something, you have to use a different service. So our police department used LexisNexis, which is a big information company. Well, when you pay them the $38 or whatever the fee is, they do a nationwide search. And then guess what popped up? So the 2 convictions popped up. It was a surprise to me. They were placed on my desk. I said, uh-oh, you know, got a problem, Houston. Because there's nothing in the city, there's no wiggle room for the city. There's no discretion. Well, we can give it back to them if we really like them, because if that was the case, we'd give it back to them. But the ordinance says you can't have any criminal convictions. So we had to revoke the license. And that's when all the madness started. The appeal hearings, the secret recordings, all that stuff, all started at that point. And meanwhile, no one wanted that particular result. I'm gonna be real frank. You know, when this all started, my whole goal is to put people in Inkster in play. All right, so I was happy it happened by chance that the 3 dispensary licenses went out to people who lived in Inkster, okay? So that's not in the ordinance, but that was my goal because we have to look out for our own community. And I truly believe if the money is made here by people who live here, it'll stay here. So that's my own theory. So that's kind of what happened. That is what happened. And that's why the license got revoked. And then that's when all the allegations started.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for saying that. Just regarding the neighborhood stabilization program, just can you know, get a framework just for the people that's unaware of it?
Oh, sure. The program is, we started back in 2017. We patterned after Taylor, Redford, a couple other cities who were already doing it. I think we were late to the party. But essentially what it is the Wayne County Treasurer has the authority to foreclose on homes and buildings, any real property, if you don't pay your property taxes. Right now it is, if you don't pay property taxes for 3 years, your house is foreclosed on by the Wayne County Treasurer. To be clear, not the city of Inkster. There's rumors out there that the mayor's taking everybody's homes. I don't have the power to take your home. I can't. But we do have a power of a right of first refusal. So we can claim the property. If the Wayne County Treasurer takes it, the city of Inkster can say, under state law, can say, hey, give us that property as long as we pay the 3 years back taxes, okay? So we, in order to eliminate blight, because what was happening, as everybody knows, people were buying the properties, losing the properties. They were being sold at the auction. People go down to the auction and buy a house for $3,000, $5,000. They don't want to put any money in it because they got into it for $5,000. They just put a renter in it and they get money. And a lot of people would do it. Their process was, we'll keep it for 3 years. They don't even pay the taxes, and they just make pure money for 3 years. And then they lose it after 3 years. And they go back and buy it again at the auction. That's the game. Well, the problem for the city is that leaves blighted properties. They don't put any money in properties. They don't fix them up. They're not up to code. Squatters, all the problems that we get with blighted property. So we wanted to take that away because everybody was worried about their property value. I want mine to rise. They were not rising, all right? So we created this program. We did over 200 houses in the first 2 years. We got about 57 that we're currently getting ready to work on now. The property values have been risen by 12, home ownership is by 12%. The property values have come up drastically. Now part of that is because they went so far down because of the market crash. Also, the sales for houses, the numbers are getting very high. We have houses selling for, we have one listed for $105,000 on the north side, 3-bedroom, 1,100 square feet. The south side last year, one sold on a slab, 3-bedroom, $83,000. That means the property values are coming back up close to what they used to be when everybody's house was worth $100,000 or more. So the program is working, but that's essentially what the program is. We have vendors. So the city doesn't put out any money. We don't have any money in the budget to pay people's past property taxes, and we're not in the real estate business. So what we do is we have 11 companies that are vendors from the city. They come in, once we claim the houses, they pay the 3 years back taxes. They get the house, they renovate the house, they put the house on the market to sell. In some instances, they put so much money in the house, and depending on how much the taxes are, they're not able to sell it for a profit. Then we will allow them to rent the houses for a period of time and then sell them later, because we want to increase home ownership, because I think people take care of their homes if they own them. So that's what we've been doing. So I think it's been successful. There's been a lot of chatter on social media about, okay, well, how about people from Inkster getting the houses? There's 4 of the 11 vendors are people who either grew up in Inkster or live in Inkster now. There's It's not Byron's family and friends, although they're eligible too. Anybody, Mac Willis is a vendor. He grew up in Inkster. He is my friend, but that's not why he's in the program. He met the requirements. The first year he came to be in the program, he was not eligible. He did not have the capital to show to be in the program. So I took him and I partnered him with a bigger company. And then they did it together. And then the next year he was able to put his capital together, come back and be a vendor by himself. And that's what I would do for anybody in the city of Inkster. It doesn't matter whether he's my friend. Alfonso Wallace is a vendor. He's a bigger vendor. He, I think, worked on Patrick Williams' campaign when he ran for council last time. So that does not preclude you from doing business in the city of Inkster. Sean Wormley is Patrick's uncle. He's a vendor in the program. I just put him in the program this year with all this madness going on. It doesn't matter to me as long as you're from the community and you can do it, you're going to be in play. So even the people, the smaller companies, the people who want to get in, if you don't have the wherewithal to meet the requirements, still apply. If you got to have some money. I mean, you got to be able to pay the back taxes. You got to be able to renovate the houses. That's the bottom line. And we have a deadline. You have 1 year to do it. So you can't take 10 houses if you don't have the wherewithal to get them 10 houses done in a year. Some people have 1 house. Some people have 2 houses. Get those done, and next year maybe you get 3 houses. You get 4 houses. But it is entirely open to anybody, and we have not turned one company down yet. Nobody from the city of Inkster has applied and got turned down. And it's so funny to hear everybody on social media talking about, you know, we can't get in, we should get the houses. None of them have applied. They haven't come to City Hall, they haven't asked for a meeting. How can I do this? I only got $10,000 out. No one. Now, we did recently talk to Dino and his company about doing it because they're doing some other things in the skilled trades. I know they have the wherewithal to do it. They meet all the requirements. It's just a matter of whether they want to do it or not. And if they want to do it, they're going to be in the program. And I think we just recently mentioned that. But if anybody else wants to be, or who are already in that business, we're open for anybody who lives in the city of Inkster. Did that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have a question. You can take
Sure.
it first.
Can you guys give me our names too, please? We recording this stuff.
Oh, my name is Sean Strickland. What is the criteria to be a vendor?
The vendor, we wanted to see the fact that you have done that before. Before and after pictures of other homes or buildings, commercial buildings that you have renovated. We wanted to see some capital in the bank. I think the original, was it how much?
30,000.
30,000?
Yeah.
Well, if you need about 30,000 to renovate probably 1 house. Some of the bigger companies show a $500,000 credit line, or they show just assets in the bank, $500,000, 300,000, 200,000. All that tells me is what capacity you have. You can do 6 houses, 7 houses. If you only got 30 or 40,000, you can do 1 house. You know, but we have, again, we haven't turned down anybody. Some people come there with no money. Well, we can't. You got to have some money, you know. So even the requirements say a certain number online. I don't even remember. It's 200,000.
It's 200. Initially, it was 250.
250. But again, if you come and say I only got 50, okay, man, we can work with you. We'll give you 1 house. We'll give you 2 houses, and get you started and see how you do. And then next year you might have 100. You know, because when you sell, they're making money. Don't get me. They're renovating the houses. They're making $15,000, $20,000 on the term. So there's money to be made. You know, but you got to be in the game to make the money.
Mr. Mayor, you mentioned Sean Wimberly, and it is suspected that he was put in because his last name is Wimberly, and this is a campaign season.
That's funny.
So,
I mean, I guess you can look at it that way, I guess, but Sean Wimberly and I grew up together. All right, we're the same age, we played Little League football together, went to high school together. You know, we played against each other, played with each other, and we've been friends all our lives. My parents worked together at Ford Motor Company, my father and his mother. I mean, so the families are close. I mean, this community is small. He inquired about being in the program in 2018, and I gave him all the information, told him how to go on the website, get in the program. He just didn't turn in his paperwork. So this year, I didn't want him to miss out. So I reached out to him and said, hey, it's coming up again this year. Are you going to participate? He said, yeah, I want to participate. I said, make sure you get your stuff in to my staff. He did, and he's part of the program. So if you want to look at it from a political thing, I mean, he inquired about it in 2018 before all this politics stuff even happened. I just wanted to make sure he was in the fold because I don't want to miss out on the opportunity because I knew he was already in that business. Sam?
I'm asking, is there any way that we can implement, like the big companies buying, say, 10, 15 houses, is there any way that we can implement them or like ask them to work with smaller organizations or contractors of our institute?
Sure, why not? Now, at the end of the day, it's their money and their company. I can't tell them what to do. But certainly, I could put people in the community who do that type of work in touch with the companies and say, hey, we would appreciate it if you use folks from the community to do the work, because it's their community. We can do that right now. We got 57 houses right now. If you can't get a house, but you can do the work, yeah, I'll put you in play. Sure.
Morning all, Shirley Hankerson. My problem is that when I watch people come in and restore homes, and they do an excellent job. I mean, they could fail like that, and they put a renter in, and within 6 months, the house looked like it was never restored.
Yeah.
And I think that's a tragedy, because if you take your money and you invest it in a property, you want it to be maintained. So we need to establish some rules and regulations for renters if they have to rent a home, that they must maintain it, they must keep the line cut, they must do the snow removal, and they need to respect the home because it's not theirs, and someone has given them an opportunity to have a single dwelling that they can call a home. So we need to tighten those laws, or regulations, or rules, or whatever you want to call it. Secondly, I'm tired of seeing people with signs on our corners saying, we buy homes for cash, all right? So we need an ordinance to eliminate that blight, because that's all it is blight, all right? And then they come in and they restore them, and they kind of skirt the system and don't have to do as much because they're not in a program, a structured program, so they get away with a lot of things that they would normally have to do under the program, so we need to look at that.
Yeah, it's tough because we can only do so much as a city. We do have our codes. If you don't cut your grass, or if you don't have a certificate of C of O or a certificate of compliance, we can ticket you and make you work on the house. But it's hard for us. If Dino owns the house and he rents it to Tony, that's between them who keeps up the house. Between the two of them, somebody got to cut the grass, keep the house up. The city, we're kind of out of that fold unless they violate one of our city ordinances. And then we ticket whoever lives there, and they go to court, and then the judge deals with it. So, but I understand what you're saying. That's why we want to encourage homeowners, because if you own a home and it's your money, you're going to take better care of the house. Renters don't care because they didn't spend the $30,000 to fix up the house.
And I don't care how much of a security deposit you ask of them. It don't matter. If they're not getting back anyway, so they're going to tear it up.
Right. You're right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
one of it's rumored, and
Rules.
I wish you could had a list of the vendors, but your cousin, Charles Nolan, is a vendor.
He is. He's a vendor, but he did not participate this year because of all of the noise. I asked him not to participate.
Well, that's, my question is there a nepotism clause in the program?
No, there's no nepotism clause in the city of Inkster at all. In the prior charter, there was a nepotism clause, which precluded immediate family members, your spouse, your children, or your parents, from having a contract with the city or working with the city unless they were there before you took office. Okay? When the charter was rewritten, they took it out. Now, it wouldn't have affected this situation anyway. A contractor is a contractor is a contractor. Unless the city council created new policy and said, we don't want anybody who's friends with any of us or related to any of us participating or doing anything, which would eliminate probably the whole city. Because there's 7 of us, and this is a small community. So, you know, it is what it is. So there's no policy in effect, there's no policy violation. Even if that was happening, I'm friends with how many people, we got 25,000 people, I know a good chunk of them. So, I mean, you could make the allegation BYRON's friends and families are getting houses as well? Okay, they are. And that's what it's supposed to be, because this is our city. You know, and that's how I look at it. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. If you don't like it, vote for the other person. You know. Yeah. Mr. Miller.
Oh, yes. They said that everybody was talking about this here. You took the starters from Pat.
Yeah.
That you helped put Pat in the grave.
Oh my God. Oh, no, please don't say that. As most people know, Pat know me, we're friends, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm friends with her husband also. They've owned Stardust for many years.
Yes.
You all know they used to have, what do they call it, fundraising parties to help them pay their taxes from time to time. I'm at the parties, throwing my donation in like many of us, right? We've all been there. The last, what was that, 2018, Pat decided not to have a party to help pay the taxes. basically those taxes, we were paying them 1 year at a time, that third year, so they wouldn't lose the property. I went and talked to her, I saw her on the pre-foreclosure list, I went to her bar, I respect for her, and said, hey, what's going on? Can I help? What's happening? She says, no, I'm just tired, Byron, I'm not doing it again, I'm just tired of the whole thing, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I said, well, Pat, this is the Stardust, so that's not an acceptable answer. I mean, you're the Stardust, you know. I said, but I respect you, I'm going back to my office, you let me know if you need some help. That was in the spring of 18. Foreclosure drop dead deadline is June, okay? Her property went into foreclosure. Then she went and approached my cousin, who had just became a vendor in the program, and said, hey, I don't want the guy who owns the liquor store behind my property to get my property, okay? So can you help me out? I owe $28,000. He said, of course. He wrote a check for $28,000, paid the taxes, and he was the vendor who took that building, okay? The Stardust is still open. Dorsey Williams still owns the Stardust. He's still sitting in the same chair. Yeah. My cousin hasn't charged them $1 of rent since he bought the building because they're friends. Pat used to be was a past president of the Black Bar Association. My cousin is a member because he owns Cutters and a couple other restaurants in Detroit. They're friends. So that's one friend helping another friend. I have nothing to do with it other than I'm the mayor and he's my cousin, and you know how that goes. But that's fine. I'm happy he did that. I'm happy the business is still open. For me, it's about keeping our iconic businesses open in the city of Inkster. Whatever business they work out going forward is their business. It's not mine. It's not the city's business. But they're still open. They're functioning, and I don't see what the issue is. And the person who put that information out, and we all know who it is, he went online and looked and saw that it went from Wayne County to the city of Inkster to my cousin's business. And then they added the rest of the facts around that and created the story. I understand, and he knows better because he's a smart individual. He was just trying to keep stuff going, which he does often because of the campaign.
I got one.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. My name is Will Miller. I had a sensitivity towards the neighborhood stabilization program, but one of the things I'd like to see, especially as the values are starting to increase, is there's a bit of a policy change for it, because right now it's all for-profit companies that's pretty much into it.
Yes.
I like there to be a buffer or a set-aside for nonprofits to get into the program for two reasons. One, a lot of nonprofits out here struggling. Something like that, a couple of them being allowed to get in there will be a cash boom for several of them, more so than they seem they existed. Second, it'll give us a buffer for low and moderate income as these properties continue to go up in value. We have an opportunity to get some stuff, put them in nonprofits, set up land, you know, not necessarily land banks, but land trusts, so that we can do more with the property, keep the values down, and help service our people over time instead of, you know, so short term. That's something that I'd like to see.
Interesting. Two things. There's nothing stopping nonprofits from doing that now. Again, we haven't turned down one organization who's applied to be in the program. So that's easy. I think last year you said you were thinking about maybe a co-op for the community. If people wanted to all throw in a couple $1,000 and they come together and they do it. It's wide open for you. If that makes sense to you financially, if you think that could work, that business model with 30 people all throw in money, it's wide open. It can be done. We can do whatever we want to do. I mean, your city council is sitting here. I mean, people who run it for city council. So whatever policy you want to create, we can create. I'm not opposed to it.
All right. I'm sorry, comfortable.
Because the rumor was you were only allowing your friends into the program, the 4 people that you know, can you speak to what they did before you put them in the program? Were they already working in that industry?
Yeah, Matt Willis has been in this industry for how long?
20 years.
Okay. Alfonso Wallace, I don't know how long, I don't know how many years, but he's been doing it for a long time. And he has a bigger company. Sean Wimley's been doing it for years. I don't know how many years, 5, 6, 7 years, somewhere in there. He's been doing it for a while. But he did mostly buying, renovating, and renting. And then my cousin, obviously he's done commercial properties, he's done residential properties for the last 20 years probably too. And so, I mean, you're not walking in across the street saying, I know how to hook up a cabinet and we're just putting you in the program. You have to be able to show us that you can actually have the capacity to do the work. Because the worst thing what we don't want is to give you a house and you don't renovate it. And it doesn't, it's still blighted, it's still sitting there. You don't have enough money to finish it, it doesn't help the neighbors. You know, and everybody's worried about themselves and them making money. I want you all to make money if you're in the business of making money. But really, this is really for the residents because it increases the property value. So I don't want to do anything to hold the property values down. I'm going to be clear to that.
Yeah.
But I do want to create opportunities for organizations who need to make some money for their organization, who can provide that service and do some other things in the community. Jason?
Shouldn't this be an opportunity maybe to create a focus group for those people that's interested? And then that'd be an opportunity down the road, so you won't have this, say, she say thing, and you can have a focus group to go down, everybody has their ideas that they want to do. And then you put a time limit on the focus group, maybe 3 months, maybe right after the tax season comes along. So then we really can show how we are helping these residents.
Right.
So
I
that'd be something to think about. And then since we have all these people getting put out of public housing, that's an opportunity to say, okay, we got less people getting kicked out of public housing for whatever reason, and they might want to stay in this community so they won't be disrupted.
And that's,
You have that. So if we're going to really talk about community, let's really make it for the community.
right. Well, let me, two things real quick. Focus group makes sense. I think I nominate Will Miller to be part of it. Just to let y'all know, he's on the board of review, so he's real familiar with these issues. And he was the impetus for us creating this program. And I said this to, I'm gonna say it publicly. The first year I got in office, I knew we had a blight problem. I knew we had people in our community who knew real estate. So I tried to get the city to allow Will Miller to buy, I don't know how many houses it was. It was 15 houses. And that's where the council voted down. And a couple of people on council said no, because why would we want him to make that money? And that's the mentality we dealing with here. I was mad, that was one of my first losses on city council, because we are crabs in a barrel, and we always have been. And I said, why would you want somebody else to make money other than him? At least he's here.
Right.
So that didn't make it. Matter of fact, we passed that thing, came back the next meeting, somebody changed their mind and voted it down. Okay, bam, we're gonna have to do this a different way. So that's what made me want to create the program. He has so much information because he's on the board of review and he's a real estate agent and all that other stuff. It makes sense for him to either head up or be on the focus group. And then the focus group come back and tell us this is what we need. And this is who would help. I'm all for people who are in housing. Let's get the people out of housing. We can use this program and use the voucher system so they can buy the home and do it. Let's figure out how to do it. Because we want to keep the people in the community, but we would I would rather for them to own a house than live in some of these other places. Some of those are just not great conditions. It's bad.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to touch on, as far as with the rebuilding the homes and renovating the homes, it really take a lot of work. So I don't want the people to think that it's just something that you can step in with the $3,000 or $4,000 that it may cost in back taxes to be able to complete the program. Because if you don't have the ability or the capacity to actually renovate or bring these homes up to code, you end up losing the money that you did spend in it. So it's not something that we should even attack or go after as individuals. If we care enough for Inkster, we should be able to put together some type of group to where we can start, purchasing these homes rather than letting outsiders purchase these homes. Now, I'm skilled trades. I represent skilled trades. I know what it takes to build a home, build a community. I understand all of the aspects of it. I run a nonprofit. I am more than willing to use our capacity and hopefully work with other vendors if they're willing, to contribute or whatever the case. I'm willing to use our capacity to work with anybody in the community as long as they meet certain qualifications, because we can't set ourselves up to lose. You know what I mean? So as long as we meet certain qualifications, as far as if you have some money to put into it, if you not only just to pay the taxes off, if you have to have money to renovate, which means you have to bring these homes up to code, which means you have to have licensed professionals to go in and pull permits. This stuff costs, right? So as a resident, if we don't have the knowledge that it takes to actually take a home from being abandoned, being foreclosed for the last 4 or 5 years, to actually being coded and tenant ready, then we should, sit down and start to prepare ourselves and to understand some of this concept so we can go at it from a learned perspective versus from we just residents and we want to buy back the block. It takes a little bit more than that. And I'm willing to help. I'm willing to work with anybody in the community. We meet every Friday and every Saturday. So I'm willing to help. I'm willing to work with anybody in the community that want to take it a little bit further than just coming to a meeting and asking questions and talking trash about it on Facebook. Because if we really want to do it, we can do it.
Okay, so now, and I thank you for what you said, Dino, but there is a football game today. So we're going to ask that you ask your question, okay? It's a question, ask your question, and ask it quickly. Thank you. Ms. Strickland was next.
Okay, so my question is, with the stabilization program, is there any components to help the renters be homeowners? Like to help renters, you know, whether it's like rent to own or some kind of component where they can, become owners of their home?
That's kind of, not at this time. I mean, that's kind of what Mr. Dixon was talking about. There's different ways, even if you don't have a whole bunch of money sitting in the bank, if you have a Section 8 voucher, there's ways where that voucher can pay for your house and you own the house at the end of this. That has not been put into play yet. That's something he's trying to work with housing with currently. I think Ms. Mitchell referred to it in her comments. Those are one of the things we're trying to implement. And of course, we're going to use the houses in our own program to be part of that. So if they put that in place, we're going to we have houses. So why wouldn't we do that? And it's our residents. So it's just a win-win. But right now, there's nothing in place currently as the city to force or make that happen. Pastor Crawford, I know you have some good ones. You're supposed to be coming with some hard questions. I see you over there, man. I know you still sleep. I saw the comments.
Mr. Mayor, so there's no money out of this program that goes back to the city. The city that transacts no money. The city just has the right to get the house.
Oh, no, we transact
and the
money.
vendor.
No.
Okay.
The vendors pay us, and for every house they buy, they pay a $1,000 administration fee because our staff has to work on this. So we have income from this. So we've done 200 houses, we've made over $200,000. That's income to the city that benefits you. You know.
Is that a matter of public, because the accusation is that you're taking people's houses and you getting money.
Me?
So, yeah. So you're taking houses and getting money.
The city's getting money.
The city's getting money and it goes into the city's general funds?
Yes, and you know, of course, we get audited every year, so you know, we can't play games with the numbers. And all that's public record. If you want to see the list from the first year to second year, all of them, who the vendors are, what the houses are, just do a FOIA request, we'll get it to you. I can email it to you. If you want to send it to Nan, you can send it out to everybody. This is all public record, anybody can see it.
Does the number of vendors change every year? Right now it's 11. Okay, 4 of them are extra resident. Just off the top of your head, who are these other 7?
I mean, I don't know them personally, but they have real estate companies. So one guy's in Dearborn Heights. He owns a realty company in Dearborn Heights. HP Snap, I think is the name of the company. Team Cares is an organization in E-Course. They did a lot of work in E-Course, renovating old homes. And they're a nonprofit. Actually, they are a nonprofit who's in the program. And they really do this to help people. All of their employees are people who are incarcerated. So they're teaching them skills and getting them back into the work game. So I love what they do. And they've been our vendors since first year. And there's some people out there just purely money. What's Will's last name? Some people are just doing it for profit. This is what they do for a living. But they're all companies, you know.
Were they picked by you? How did they get approved?
They just met the criteria.
So they came to the city. You didn't know them before?
No.
They heard about it, they came to the city, and do you take it to city council, or what's that process in between?
No, my staff handles all that. Sade Fleming is Director of Special Projects. She just had a baby, so she's been out for a while. Caitlin Hines is her assistant, so they handle all that. Like I said, no one's been turned down. So they come, they meet the criteria, they're in the program. The only 2 people out of 11 that I knew before was Mac Willis and of course my cousin. I know him his whole life. I didn't even know Alfonso Wallace before he became part of the program. I knew his mother, but I never met him. So.
How was that advertised?
It was our RFP put out a couple years ago. It's standing. It's on the city's website. Probably under special projects or real estate. It's open, so you could join now. Each vendor gets a 3-year deal. And you have to abide by the contract for 3 years, and then you'd have to come back up for another vote. So if you're in the first year, this is your 3rd year, now you have to go through the process again if you want to continue to be a vendor.
Mr. Mayor, is this program putting people out of their homes?
People who don't pay their taxes are going to lose their homes, period. Now, we want to keep people in their homes, then we need to come together as a community, put some money in a pot and pay people's taxes. I don't think that's sustainable. But we can, if that's what we want to do. But this program, we're taking the houses that are foreclosed. So those houses are foreclosed by the Wayne County Treasurer.
If they're homeowners, what if they're homeowners?
If you're a homeowner, our policy is, even if we claim the house, if you can come up with 3 years' taxes, we will give you back your house before the vendor starts renovating the house. And many people take advantage of that. Because when the first year of the program is confusion. The cutoff date is in June. People are used to paying their taxes late. No, the auction don't happen until September. So you could go up to Wayne County Treasurer and drop your money the day before the auction and get your house back. So the first year there was a lot of confusion because that was the first year we did the program. So people thought they had till August or September to pay their taxes. We had already claimed it, deeded it to the vendors and gone. So we created the policy where if you had your money, we want to encourage our homeowners to stay here. So we will give you back your house. Now, it doesn't help us because we can't force them to renovate it, but at least our homeowner stays here in the city and they get their house back.
Investors do not.
Investors do not. If you didn't pay your taxes and there was a rental property, you lost your property.
Okay, so, yesterday I had a meeting with Eric Sabri. I don't have a sheet, but it's a sheet and I'm gonna get it for you guys. They have it where you are certain income brackets, you don't have to pay taxes. And I think that we're not sharing enough of that information in the community because I'm in doing stuff like this and I didn't have a clue that happened. If you're a veteran, if you're a disabled veteran, you don't pay taxes. So some of the things we have to educate ourselves how to insulate ourselves, other communities are insulating themselves. So what I am going to ask, you said you have 54 homes?
57.
57? Can we ask if we had an opportunity to put the focus group together and give us a time limit to say, community come together like you guys, everybody's here today. We put a workshop together, we put something together for credit repair for people to get the people who want to be, who's serious about participating. We put a free credit seminar together, and we can work on it every week from now, because we've been working on this every week anyway, right? So to protect the people, so people won't have these ideas that they're getting cut out the pie, let's create the pie, let's cook the pie for them, let's give them some ingredients. Let's bring the couple of banks that we're working with to the table. Let's bring the people for the credit, to get their credit together to the table. And let's give the people who are working, like Dino and the other gentlemen are in the program, give them an opportunity. They need to work together to get that situated and treat the people in Easter first so they can have an equitable position. Can we do that?
We can do that.
And I think that'd be great, so then they won't say what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And then, like Dino said, some people that don't know, they can learn. And then we can just bring the resources a little faster than we was bringing them, than we was doing.
The whole thing is if as far as buyers, of course we want our people to stay here. So if we can get our people credit score up, get them the education they need so they can qualify for a mortgage, why wouldn't the vendors want to sell to people from Inkster? They just want their money. I mean, now he cares because he lives in Inkster. But even the vendors outside Inkster, we're going to bring them the buyers. They'd be jumping for joy.
Well, where I'm coming from is the equity position. Let's look at equity. Equity means the people that's here, that's been living around the blight, living around the confusion since the 80s, 90s, that they're able to say, okay, well, I can get the taxes and I can help partner with Dino or the other gentleman to renovate this house to sell it. So Dino and the other gentleman get their money for their renovation, whatever. They might get a couple, but then somebody else, this gentleman here might say, okay, I want one, right? So then we get him prepared so he can get the equity position. Now, I'm talking equity. I'm not talking about the people that's not from here that have businesses because they know how to get the equity position. Let's change somebody's life. So Inkster got a whisper about, hey, I want to move to Inkster because this is how they treat their people.
I think you're saying the same thing as Dino's saying, the same thing that Will Miller's saying. It's just a matter of putting it together.
Focus group coming together.
Yeah, it's just a matter of putting it together.
So we don't have to see that he's getting ready to pass around right now for this focus group. And then we're going to get a date today for when the focus group will start. So since everybody is here, we won't have that he say, she say stuff. We're going to get a date before we leave out this room.
Okay.
And then we'll have a date for your credit score to get that stuff done, we'll do all that today.
That's
so
good.
We won't have all that he say, she say, and we'll get something done.
Right.
Sandra, who's next?
Is there any way that community of workforce can work with the city? Say that, say how the city buy the house, community of workforce, do the work and raffle the house off? Can we like do something?
Raffle the house?
Yeah, for like $20 or $30. That way, a person who needs a house. I guarantee you the money will be there.
I would rather somebody who in that business does that rather than the city. Now remember, the city is in the business of providing services to you. That's all. The reason why we have vendors is because I'm not a real estate professional.
I don't think you understand what he's saying. Slow down for a second. Mathematically why? What he's saying is true.
What is he saying?
Mathematically is right.
What is he saying? What is he saying is true?
I'll break it down to you. If the city have a house, say worth $5,000, and
Over
community,
5,000 in taxes.
if they owe $5,000 in taxes, and community workforce come and develop this house, now this house is rentable. If, just say around Christmas, if we just sell tickets for $50, one homeowner can win a house for $50, that will be sustainable for a community. That will make our community thrive, and a person want a house for $50.
So you have a number of people to buy raffle tickets. You might have 1,000 people.
I understand the concept. There's some blanks in there.
I know.
Who's paying the taxes? Who's paying for the renovation? Even if community have did it for free, which
Still got to do those things.
who's paying for that? And how do they get their money back?
It generates itself through the raffle.
So we'll do it this way. We'll do it this way. I work with him to get the whip, we give us money, I work with him to get the money to do it. I work with him to get the grant to do it. Because if you got one, see what I see is we're not taking an opportunity to work together to make Inkster be that place for us, right? So when we do things like that means everybody has to come together to get that done. But then that's saying, wow, I'm in Inkster. And if you do that on a regular basis, now people are going to be putting a positive light on Easter. That's going to change the mentality.
Okay, I'm gonna ask that this kind of conversation happen in the focus group. That's what we're forming the focus group for. So we're still taking, are there any more questions on the current neighborhood stabilization program? I know I had one more. Does anybody else have a question about that program? The program is shrouded in controversy. And this is where we clean it up.
Y'all want to get more
Question. I got a question. So we developed this focus group, and it's putting Inkster in better positions for Inkster. We're not in the interest of any other city, any other thing that's going on in any other city. It's about putting interest in Inkster. So since Inkster has the right of first refusal, if we put together an Inkster focus group, would that Inkster focus group be able to take advantage of Inkster's right of first refusal? Meaning if you got 50 houses left and we put together a focus group that you approve of the way that we moving forward, will we be able to execute your right of first refusal?
It's up to the city council.
All right.
It's not up to the mayor, but we wouldn't be having this conversation if we're not open to that. If the city, if us, ourselves, if we can handle this ourselves, then let's do it ourselves. But we had to start the program, we had to open it up to the open market because all this stuff was not in place. But we can refine it. We can change the program. It's just policy. That's all it is. So we do have the right of first refusal as long as they don't change that state law. If we create an organization that can handle it, we can do it.
Okay, I like to say this, okay? I'm a native Inkster. I was born in Inkster. I'm one of the founders of Seeds to Feed. We have been feeding this community for 20 years.
Christian.
Okay? Real estate, I've been talking to my friends for years about real estate. From my people in the gardens, from my boys over in ATA across the Ave, from everyone in Inkster, okay? The thing is that we have to do more than just talk about it, you gotta be about it. There's dreamers and there's doers. Because these conversations that we had it at bars, we had it at Pat's bar, we had it, you know, so the thing is, sometimes you gotta step out and just do it. Just do it. And then you come and talk about it, because right now there's 5 species of birds that can repeat. And that's all that's going on. Not saying right now, that's all that's going on, but what I'm saying is that we talk too much, but it's not enough action. So if you can put something together, then get with me. And maybe I'll help you feel that dream. But the thing is that we got to do more than talk, because a lot of times we walk out, it's almost like going to a good sermon at church. Everyone hears everybody clapping, oh, hallelujah. And then once they leave, it's right back to daily things that they do. So if you talk about it, be about it, then talk to me.
problems that are being said or being asked. One, I think you touched on it, that this program is making us renters and not homeowners. So I thought I heard you say they cannot rent unless they're negative in equity. You will allow them, is that, do they have to prove that they can't sell that? And do they prove it to city council?
Yeah, not to the city, they prove to the administration.
Administration, and then once they have hit that threshold where they can sell it for somewhat of a profit, then they're made to sell it?
And they want to sell it. I mean, 9 times out of 10, they want to make money.
Okay,
You know?
and the second thing is that the average citizen in Inkster, especially the younger demographic, don't have $30,000, $40,000, but they want a house. So the way this program works now, they have to show the equity to be able to fix the house. Is there something that can be done with this program, or maybe another program developed where if they pay the taxes, there's some grant monies or something else available to help that demographic, say, coming out of housing, to be able to buy a house?
I think that's what we've been talking about thus far. I think that's what.
So that's the focus group, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more thing. Okay, so the thing is that I know that everybody want to be homeowners. And let me tell you, it's the hardest thing in the world, especially if you try to go with FHA. I've been a realtor for over 15 years, about 12 years. Okay, I'm also been inside development as well as property management. I've dealt with investors overseas, you know, all in different countries, you know. So the thing is this, is that the program itself, we would love, let me tell you something. Any LLC want to make money. So the thing is that it benefits me more if I renovate the property and sell it. But unfortunately, there are some people that are in the homes or someone that needs a house, you know, and I know that for a fact they can't purchase it, but they have children, so they need somewhere to stay. So yes, the investors, we will, well, myself, and I can speak of myself and Alfonso, we will allow someone to rent the property and then try to work with them, connect them with Shawana Cook, connect them with people who know the real estate game and try to help them build a credit. But the thing again, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. So the thing is, you can say, listen, you can't go open up, you can't go spend these credit cards. You gotta pay off this bill. You gotta do this. These things that you gotta do. And if you don't do it, you can't have home ownership. And FHA is the hardest, I don't care what you say. FHA, they are so critical on you getting your stuff right. 640 just don't do it by itself. You have to meet the income requirements. There's so many different things that you have to have done. But the thing is, we're willing to work with anyone that wants to rent a property and rent to own or land contract or anything like that. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you have to get your credit right. You have to get your income right, have your 3%, 5% if you want conventional, and be able to purchase a home. So the program is a beautiful program for someone who wants to purchase a property. We want to sell it to them, and people who can't afford to do it right now, but give them a year or two to get their credit right. You know, but like I said, you got to be willing to do it and do the steps that you need to do to get it right. And that's a beautiful thing, like you say, credit repair. Once you get that in order, it's 50 to 100 people I can send to you to try to get that credit right. And then I can work with the other businesses and see if we can get them to home ownership. Because you got to realize that the mayor and the council only can do so much. You know, they're not in the business of real estate. Because the thing is that the houses are being lost anywhere it goes. I've been buying houses from Wayne County Auction for years. It's just that the city, the mayor decided to say, you know what, let me take our homes and then try to fix them up so that I can get the community up. And it's been a beautiful program. Because I know so many investors who have purchased homes, like you say, and I call it tax time ballers. They get that money in February, get $5,000, $6,000, purchase a home, and then can't afford to fix it up. So it sits for another 3 years, and it's an eyesore to you because it's next door to you. So like I say, I'm willing to work with you guys. You get the program, put it on paper, let me look over it, and let's try to make the community better. Because that's what we're for. The president of Seeds to Feed, he's here right now. I mean, We're willing to work. We're willing to work, because that's what we've been doing for years.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna ask right now if there's any more questions about the stabilization program, any more. If you are watching on Facebook or live, YouTube or Facebook Live, you should have been here to ask your questions. Don't get your information off Facebook. You should have been here to ask your question. Are there any other questions? Okay, so the mayor has viewers. Oh, you got one?
Yes, it's not directly about the.
Well, that's what I'm gonna say. He's got a few more minutes to take some other questions. Will you do that? Okay, and I know I have one about the skating rink, so go ahead. And anybody else who has a question now, we're off of the neighborhood stabilization program. Our minds are clear. Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, as I drive through the city, it is several buildings throughout the city that's all like painted the same color, and they just sat there. Is there some type of ordinance that the city can put in place for people that buy these commercial buildings that do nothing to them? I think we need to try to get an ordinance around, you know, if you buy a commercial building, they need to have a license within a certain period.
Unfortunately, we cannot, because of your constitutional rights, we cannot mandate that. But we do have ordinances to protect us, like the dangerous buildings ordinance. We have 22 buildings that have been condemned in the city of Inkster because they're not structurally sound. People are buying them and not doing anything with them. The colors of the paint, the buildings you're talking about, we're in a lawsuit right now because we've condemned several of those buildings. We just want you to fix them up and get them back on the tax rolls. The game is that somebody will buy the building in a nonprofit's name. They'll try to figure out some way not to have to pay taxes. They'll sit on them for a decade and wait for the community to build itself up, the property values to go up, then they'll sell it for a profit.
So speaking of that, if you have a property and what is it when you're using the property and you don't have an operator's license?
Well, you can't. If it's open, you gotta have a certificate of compliance, saying that the property's up to code and everything is safe in the property. But people are just boarding them up and sitting on it.
Okay,
So if you want to board up your building, just sit on it and pay your taxes, there's nothing I can do to you.
Okay, so you're not allowed to have a function in there?
No, people are doing it, but no. You know, you do it on the weekend, we're closed. So code enforcement does work on the weekend, but people know the game. People know the game.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we have a rental house ordinance, and yeah, if your house is vacant, you're supposed to secure it, board it up, so people can't go in and out of it, so we don't have a nuisance situation. We do have a nuisance ordinance, so if there's squatters there, people selling drugs there, prostitution, we can go after your house, take it from you, and then we'll just put it in our program.
But what if we have a house, like for instance, I got a house that's next door to me that's been probably abandoned for 4 or 5 years, the bushes growing out, the grass is this high. As a concerned citizen, how do I tackle that?
You're in trouble. I mean, if there's nothing illegal going on there, or it's not creating a nuisance, smell, something to everyone else.
Grass, weeds, grass,
I mean,
high, bushes growing out.
I mean, I get you, but it's got to meet a certain standard for us to go in there and just take it, because that's somebody owns that. Now, if it's abandoned, they typically don't pay the taxes, but that takes 3 years before it goes back and the county treasurer will foreclose. So it's a kind of a tough situation. That's why we created the nuisance ordinance, so we can go after it quicker. We don't have to wait 3 years if there's something illegal or something bad going on.
More. Unfortunately, brother, you are the children of one father, provided for, provides care. You're very familiar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the thing is you just gotta step up. You know, I went and I got a group of guys, paid these guys, and just have them clean up, cut down stuff. I mean, we neighbors, we just gotta take care of what's ours. If it's an eyesore to you, you gotta just take the time and knock it down. Because unfortunately, you know, the city only can do so much. The ordinance, they can send tickets out. They can send tickets out, but the people don't do it. They shouldn't even have warrants for their arrest. But the only way to get it done is you gotta sometimes just do it yourself.
It actually is, people in the community are echoing that. We're supposed to provide certain service. We're supposed to cut grass, anything we own, the medians. We're supposed to handle all that. In your neighborhoods, people have been taking care of their own neighborhoods for years. People are cutting the grass, the vacant lot next to their house, and they don't own it because they want it. They want their house to look good. They want their neighborhood to look good, and that's what we do as a community. Some people just like to complain, and we're always going to have those. Matter of fact, a whole bunch of people just like to complain. Come over and do this. Come on and do this. Okay, that's fine. But most of us want the community to be great, and we want to make sure we live in a safe, attractive community. And you just get together and get it done. I saw something on Facebook about there was an island and the grass had got long, and I saw the picture, and they're going back and forth. City ain't been over here. We called 3 times. Man, cut the grass. I mean, cut the grass. You know what I mean? All that time you spent complaining and being on social media, you could have cut the grass.
Mr. Mayor, are you having your opponent's yard signs pulled up?
Oh, yeah. I saw some nonsense on Facebook the other day by the same people. Do you understand? I know y'all smart people. When you see the same people putting out the same nonsense, you know it's nonsense, right? I mean, look, I got texts from my people who didn't know the rules, because most of us don't know the rules of yard signs. And they were like, look, I just got a letter in the mail from the Officer Wall saying that I got so many days to move my sign out the yard. I said, yeah, you better get it out your yard. You know, both sides. Everybody got a letter. Not one person got a ticket. Not one. But people, you see people driving around on Facebook taking pictures of signs. Look, all that is nonsense. Just because you see a sign in the yard doesn't mean that person didn't get a letter in the mailbox. You think about that? So what point are you trying to make? Everybody got it. And, you know, people need to relax and calm down. Everybody's emotionally charged. This is just an election. It's not life or death. It's important. The future of our city is important. It is going to go one or two ways. Nothing stays the same. You either get better or you get worse. And I just hope people are using their rational brain to decide who they want to vote for. I'm not trying to be the most popular. I'd rather not be here. I'd rather be at home watching TV. I'm an introvert by nature. Look, I don't, you know, all this rah-rah, I'm not into rah-rah. I don't like drama. I'm not into it. If I am not chosen, I'm going to go on and live my life. Byron's been fine for 50 years, 46 years before I ran for mayor. I'm going to be fine. I'm worried about the city. I don't worry about no $105,000 salary. I've been making money since '96. Let me be clear. I ain't rich as Jason Dixon, but I ain't miss no meals. I'm not gonna miss no meals if I'm never ever the mayor again. This is about the city of Inkster. And who has the skill set to move the city forward? We're doing this down. We've talked here for an hour. They ain't talk about the downtown development. I'm bringing restaurants. We're bringing restaurants. We're bringing all types of stuff for you to do. This is our city. If I'm not here next year, the downtown ain't gonna be here next year. Let's keep it real. Because that was a personal relationship thing. I had to fly to Texas and convince the developer to come to Inkster and spend his money. Inkster's like, what? He got online. He ain't know nothing about no Inkster. Oh, I come to Inkster. Them people don't look like me. You know?
We're gonna take the last question here from and then we're gonna ask the mayor to talk about, so see how I'm smart. We're gonna ask the mayor to talk a little bit about the downtown development, and then we're gonna get him and all of us out of here for those who watch football. I don't watch football.
I just want to make a comment real quick because you brought up the question about the yard signs, and it appeared that it was just the mayor's race that was having issues with yard signs, and that's totally false because the simple fact of the matter that I'm one of the candidates that's running for re-election, and we all who were running had yard signs up. I got screenshots from my constituents who said, Stephen, why did I get this violation in the mail? I said, well, you got to pull up your yard sign. They said my yard signs are gone. I said, well, who picked them up? And then as I'm driving through the neighborhood, my yard signs appeared in yards that I don't even have recollection of placing. So therefore, I know that there's some stuff going on, just like when my literature disappeared from different places that I placed stacks of it at. People don't like me that much, that they was all taking it home. So I know that it's not just the issue in the mayor's race where this was occurring. So I want everybody who watches Facebook Live and everybody in this room to know it's not just people calling in about the mayor stuff. It's happening all over to all of the candidates. It's not just one with this sabotage and stuff happens. So don't think, oh, the mayor's doing this or oh, Patrick is doing this. It's other people in the community who's fueling this these propagandistical actions. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
You gonna take Dino's question?
Real quick, it's about the development. I mean, we're a little late in the game, but we definitely have the capacity and the interest to build and develop in Inkster. And my organization is nonprofit, so when I say steep, I'm talking about nonprofit. We provide all free services. We don't charge nobody for nothing. And I'm pretty sure y'all have seen a lot of amazing things that we do. Now, I do have affiliate companies, obviously, that are for profit, and we have the capacity to develop, and we want to develop. So we are doing like business incubators at the Inkster Rec right now to develop businesses in Inkster, that we're going to purchase the property to develop their businesses in Inkster to get Inkster thriving. We're looking right now at Harrison and Carlisle because any other Inkster native know what was really going on back with Harrison and Carlisle. This is where it started. The commerce, all of the businesses was right here. And you know, I've been here for all my life, and it's been like this forever. So we're looking into buying these lots, and it's been a whole lot of resistance. That's why I just want to tie it in with the development, because we have the ability to develop as well. You know what I mean? So with the lots, there's been a lot of resistance.
What lots were at?
These lots up and down Harrison.
Oh, Harrison.
Yep, absolutely. They're all vacant. They're all abandoned. They're, you know, they're city owned. City owned. City owned. City owned. City owned.
City owned?
City owned.
Oh, I haven't seen any request to purchase any of those.
Right, because I can't. Right, because I can't get through the people that's in front of me. So
Just CC me. All you gotta do is email. You put it in writing, obviously. Y'all wanna buy this lot, vacant lot, this is the price.
how much are the lots? Because they're telling me no. They're telling us two different prices because Sade isn't in office right now. Caitlin is, and she don't know anything, so she's referring us to the real estate agent and telling us to use whatever price the real estate agent.
I got a call the other day, as a matter of fact, regarding that. I didn't realize it was involving you.
We'll
but
talk,
I
can we
just got
get that afterward,
Okay.
maybe?
All right.
Shawty will be back on the 16th, number one.
Okay.
But we'll get that work.
I know you want to hear from Mr. Crawford.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. State your question quickly, Mr. Crawford, since you just now decided to ask.
Okay, because of time, in the football game, it's only Army and we don't blow them out. I actually had 5 questions the other day to deal with the neighborhood stabilization program platform. My question was more about dispensaries and what's going to take place.
Shoot. Shoot. Let's just
Do you own that?
Do I own this business? No. I think it was.
Number 2.
That's it? Okay.
Are there or will there be any black ownership concerning dispensaries?
The top 3, first of all, there was the 3 licenses we gave out initially in 2016, 2 of them were black owned, 1 of them was not, but that person was an Inkster resident.
Moving forward in the future?
The person, one of the people had to sell the business because they were unable to get a state license. So the flower bowl is no longer owned by an African American and no longer owned by someone in Inkster.
Speaking of the Gross House property, how would the Gross House property be?
The grows?
Growth facility.
Oh, grow facility, okay.
The area where it is being built right now, there is a couple African American owners
Yes.
that own properties. How would they skip over? Not to participate in the purchase of the property.
I don't know anything about that.
How did they become a growth facility?
No.
Were these landowners?
Yes, they're land.
Okay.
Well, I guess if they don't need your land, then maybe you didn't get an offer for it to be purchased. I don't know. I don't know specifically who you're talking about, but there are African Americans who own grow facilities in the city of Inkster. They're being built right now. You can see right on John Daly and Throwbridge.
Exactly.
That's a group of mostly African American people. As a matter of fact, Sammy went out there one day and shot a video, and I was cracking up because, you know, Sammy do stuff. He's by his heart, but he was talking about Europeans, and I was like, Sammy don't know that's owned by black people, but he didn't know, you know. But the Europeans were out there working, but it was just kind of funny, you know. I was like, I wish Sammy would have called me, but that's not Sammy. Sammy do what Sammy do. So I watched the video and I called the guy and talked to him and said, hey, he was like, who's this guy out here, making an issue. But if you give me some addresses and people, I don't know about that.
Okay, next question. Is there a visionary, financial visionary platform that speaks of monies that are being made for marijuana, where these dollars are going when it comes to our city?
Absolutely. And that was the whole point. The vision for this started even before I was the mayor. I wouldn't bring it here if it doesn't benefit us. You know, so absolutely, each person with a license sponsors a police officer. So we expect to put 10 more police officers on the force in the next 2 years. Okay, we're just allowing these people to get built and up and running so they can start paying into the fund. We had to create a nonprofit. Matter of fact, Joel sits on the board, his mom sits on the board, where the money goes to the nonprofit, and then they pay it to the city for the police officers. You had to set it up that way for legal reasons. So that's no question. In addition to the money they pay for police officers, we're going to ask each organization to sponsor a youth team, a little league team, sponsor them. We shouldn't be raising money for our kids to go to Florida and play the football playoffs when we have multi-million-dollar businesses in the community. So in order to be here, the price of admission is to be part of the community. I don't, and you know, Samuel always talk about community benefits agreement. He doesn't know these things I'm negotiating on behalf of the city. So I understand where he's coming from, and I'm still okay with that if it benefits the city. But everything we're doing is we're going to make sure our people are okay. And I'm not sitting around waiting. As you all know, we just built a football field for the Inkster Raiders in Westwood Park because they did not have a home field. We were trying to build one for the Vikings in Lamont Park. We didn't have enough space there to build a 100-yard field. So obviously we're going to demolish the Woodson School building anyway. That's gone. We're going to build them a field right there, and that'll be built in the spring. We have to take care of our own kids, but anybody who's going to do business here, they have to pay a price of admission. And they've all been receptive to that.
Where can we find information that says, in other words, this is where your Inkster dollars from dispensaries and growth houses, this is where your money has been spent on the city?
You know what? We need to put that together. We haven't started receiving money from the state yet. The treasurer just went up there a couple weeks ago to Lansing. They had a seminar on how they're going to start issuing out the money per people buying things through the dispensary. That's how we get our tax dollars back. There's been some changes. You may be more familiar with them than I am, but I think medical marijuana, they're not going to do prop sharing with the cities anymore. It's all going to be recreational. All right. So when we discuss the issue of whether we should opt into recreational, it's nothing to talk about. Otherwise, we're in this and we're not receiving any money. We have to opt in. And there's no reason, if we already got medical, why would you not opt into recreational? The store is already there. It's my position we don't need any additional dispensaries. But let them sell both recreational and medical, and then the city gets the tax dollars. But all that's got to be public record. We'll be able to see through the computer system what we make on a daily basis, because we'll see the sales that's going through the dispensaries. That's why it's important to have, we only have one dispensary open right now. So we're not getting as much revenue as we could because obviously one got burned down and one license got revoked. We do have to figure out what we're going to do with that one license. You know, that's another opportunity for us as a city council to put the proper stipulations on it so somebody from the community or a group from the community would have an opportunity to get it. We can't guarantee it because it may be some sort of lottery at some point, but we can create the rules to get in the lottery. So those are the type of things that we can do legally. But we have to figure that out. Nobody wants to deal with it because it's election year. But we got to take the stigma off of this. I went to Flint 2 weeks ago and visit a place called Common Citizen. I don't know if you guys. I walk in this place, you're in an Apple store. You don't smell marijuana. It doesn't even look like a dispensary. You walk in this glass and different things, packaging. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. And there's no stigma. People come in there. It's a medical platform. The people who own it are doctors, healthcare professionals. And they want somebody to come in. They have a coffee shop in there. You can hang out, read the paper. They want somebody to be comfortable and take the stigma off of this marijuana stuff. It's legal. Everybody embrace it. It's legal. It's old. Just like alcohol is legal. It's legal. We need to take the stigma off of it and just deal with it as a business. Stop being emotional about it. This is a business. So let's make the decisions to benefit the city. But I'm with you on that. We'll put that together with the treasurer, treasury department, and make sure we know where every penny is going so you can see how it benefits or doesn't benefit.
Yeah, because, you're getting rich off the dispensaries and the money is all filtered back into the
right. If I'm rich, I need a bigger house. I live in the same little 1,100 square foot house with the same little car. I don't even think I got it. I got a city car. So it's funny, but people always want to throw out things because people are jealous by nature. We're a jealous group of people. And so if you think someone else is doing better than you, you want to shoot them down, which is ironic. Ironic. I don't need to shoot you down. I'm trying to build you up. Because me by myself being on top means nothing. If you're not with me, you're not with me. As a group, if we're not strong, it means nothing. I don't have to live in Inkster, I can live in Bloomfield Hills. But what does that mean? Nothing also. They don't want me out there, I can't get a fish sandwich out there, so I live there. And now I can help 100 people, and those 100 people can help 100 people, and we keep building. People putting out these rumors, look at what they're doing. Look at their credibility. What are they doing? They've been selling dope their whole life in the community, and then they calling me a drug dealer? Are they criminals, and then they call me a criminal? I'm a lawyer, I ain't a criminal. I'm 50 years old, I'm too old to be a criminal. I don't even know what to do. You know? It's crazy. So now I'm not real or hard because I did what I was supposed to do. Right. We all grew up in me and Leon grew up in the same neighborhood, went to school, parents worked. I hit the parent lottery, I had 2 good parents. So sue me. I ain't slung dope on the block, I'm not that cool. You know, I don't wear baseball caps that much, you know, even though my friend Tony does. I mean, I am white. We all can't be the same. You need doctors, you need lawyers, you need scientists, you need teachers, you know.
You activists.
It's just,
we made jobs created for growth houses.
That's important. That's important. The state came in a couple weeks ago. I saw a couple of Inkster people there. Lyndon Jones was there. Shana was there. There's a social equity piece in this marijuana business that the state is pushing down, and I love it. They asked will we host it, and I said of course. Where these companies have to come in the community and they have to train your residents to work in their facility. You have to have a certain percentage of these businesses owned by people from the community. You speak in my language. There's all type of business like trimming and different things in this. They make great money. But we're sitting here and we don't know how to do it. Well, I'm going to force the people who are in our community making money to train us how to do it. And then guess who they're going to hire? You, because you live around the corner from the facility. You're going to be on time. You know, you're going to watch out for their facility because that's where you make your money at. Everybody's on board. We just have to put the mechanism in place.
My first and last question, when is the next open forum to speak with the mayor, request the mayor one-on-one before election?
I mean, you know I do lunch with the mayor every month, third Thursday of the month. People can ask anything they want. We have a good time, and we eat, because you know how we get down. You know, that directions at noon. And y'all can call me, y'all got my number. You can call me, you can come to city council meeting, orientation. Every city council meeting, the orientation is not televised. It's open, you can get up and ask whatever you want. And we try to address it. You know, sometimes we get crunched for time, depending on how much time is on the agenda. I mean, things on the agenda, but anytime. I mean,
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you.
For Leon's benefit, as far as these dispensaries go, I sit in council meeting for a reason, to make sure that our people get a job in these dispensaries, because I'd be danged if I'm gonna let our money leave our city. All right? Yeah. We have worked too hard and too long to go without. All right? And if we can do it illegally, we need to be right in the mix legally, making that money too. If we can't own them, we might as well make the money along with them.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I was here when Imam Pasha came. And he had some beautiful ideas about everything, from mortgages for houses, to opening up a school, to opening up the skating rink. And I want to know how he is being mistreated, or what injustice is happening to him, if any, where he cannot get his businesses open, he cannot get his school open, he cannot get that skating rink, most importantly, open. Is it you? Is it the council? Is it the city? Why don't we have a skating rink in Inkster?
Okay, hold on, 1 second. Just before, because people leave, somebody left a key fob a while ago. I don't know if they okay or not. That's you. Hey, all right, we good now.
Yeah, Imam Pasha is a good man. When he first came to Inkster, I met him. Did some legal work for him before I was the mayor. He told me about his vision. I was on board 100% because it was all about community. And you know, we have other people who have great ideas and stuff. Some of that has not come to fruition. I don't know whose fault it is, doesn't matter, I guess. But it hasn't come to fruition. He was going to open a school originally. It was going to be a Muslim school. I I didn't think that was gonna work in Inkster. I expressed my opinions to him because of the religious component to it. I just didn't think it would be enough kids who would go, parents would send their kids to a Muslim school in the city of Inkster. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but everything he has to do with respect to that school building, he has to deal with the state because it's a school building. We have no jurisdiction over it as a city. We don't issue C of O's, certificates of compliance. We have nothing to do with it. I don't know what this, that he had a temporary C of O a couple of years ago. He's had functions there, he has meetings there. The kids used to play football in the back of it a couple of years ago before he put them out. Why the skating rink's not open is expressed on the pamphlet, but it's just simple. We have a site plan process. It got stalled out. He has not revised his architectural drawings and given them back to the city of Inkster. I believe, and he has not told me this, that he believes he shouldn't have to go through this process. All right, because he's friends with, or was friends with the mayor. I guess he's enemies with the mayor now. And that's just part of the job. People, when they help you or think they help you, by the way, he's never given me a dime. You know, just like my opponent's never given me a dime. But he did support me. You know, when I ran the first time, he wanted me to win. So if you call that support, that's support. So sometimes that comes with strings, and people do not want to have to follow the rules because they know the people with the principles. So he knew me. I'm gonna do everything I can within the rules or the law to help you. He had an issue with a fire suppression system. That skating rink is over. The new code requires you have a fire suppression system. If that place caught on fire, it would go up like a book of matches. New fire suppression system costs $250,000. We sat down with him because he didn't want to spend $250,000. As the government, we want to make sure it's safe because our kids are going to be in there using it. So we found a workaround along with the state of Michigan and our building department to eliminate the requirement for him to put a fire suppression system in there. Now, I thought we'd be friends for life because I just saved him $250,000. I was wrong. You know, he still hasn't revised his drawings to get the skating rink open. He's did all the work. He hasn't pulled any permits. He hasn't followed any of the rules, but he's did the work. We just need to inspect it at this point. But you got to feel, we don't even get to that point until you finish the architectural drawings. And I guess he's taking a position he's not going to do it. Now, he's supporting my opponent. Maybe he believes if he wins, he won't have to do it. I don't know what the strategy is. I haven't had any communication with him. I see him, I say hi, I keep it moving. So that's why the skating rink's not open. You know, it would be lovely for the, guess who gets the credit for the skating rink being open if it's open? Y'all see me talking about we opened 16 new businesses. Well, it would be 17 if the skating rink was open. So we all shouldn't want the same thing. But you know, it is battle of the ego, battle of whatever's going on.
Do you want to get to downtown development, or are you still taking?
No, we'll go ahead and finish this brother. You know.
So what is it that you think that it's going to take for, you know, those, because as African Americans, our egos always get in the way, and we're not moving forward. So somebody got to be humble, right? Because we actually just, we're working on a model with all the properties in Inkster to show the social economic value. So we're able to get HUD and Michigan to give down payment assistance just for Inkster. So if we say we got it, because I'm looking at the road skating rink, and I know this lady, and Connie Ann Mabel was in a meeting with her. I know how this lady is. She's the deputy director for the whole state. If we can't show that that place can be open and we're building that relationship, I mean, the stuff that we're going to these meetings and doing is for little, okay? So we need you two to come together and sit down and really drive that place with open, so we can get some dates and things.
Look, I'm at the point where I'm ready to fix my money in so he can revise his own drawings. I mean, it's silly. Now, if I'm open, I can meet with the, but we don't, all we need to do is figure out how much it's going to cost him to revise his drawings. Now, I know the man got more money, he got more money than me, but if we need to help him do it.
That's where I'm coming from, because at the end of the day, when you look at Inkster as a whole, and you put the social economics together for Inkster, a whole lot of money could be coming here.
I know.
So are you saying that should help them pay for it?
I'm not necessarily saying we're not saying pay for it, but there's resources out there. We need to get them to the table and say, this is what we got to move forward. This is what we talk. We don't know. Okay, you know, wait. We can say what somebody knows. We don't know what they know.
Look, if you can mediate that, that's great. We're probably talking about $500 to pay the architect to revise. Right. You know, I spend that when I go out. You know, so.
Are we gonna let everybody? We need to pay. You know, we are so quick to try to make allowances instead of having everybody come up. We want to do it down.
No, that's not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
All right.
He has the opportunity. All he needs to do is
What we do it for?
Let's make sure the
Okay,
chairwoman got it.
so we got Sammy, and then we have Garth.
I had a couple of conversations with them about the skating arena. I guess somebody in his organization was saying, I'm not vouching, I'm asking a question, so I'm gonna put that on. He was saying something about they shouldn't have to get it redrawn because they never changed the business from something to, I'm pretty sure y'all had that conversation, like they never changed the business from a skating arena.
He said it's never changed, so why should I have to redraw the drawings?
Right, okay.
But this is the part of it that makes sense, because the ordinance requires you to. Number two, he already did it. He had an architect draw the drawings. So when we reviewed it and said, hey man, make these 4 changes and bring it back to us. We do that on almost every project. I mean, to take that position after you done spent the money to draw it doesn't make sense to me. That's all.
I was just, when you said everything public record, I was just wondering, do they got anything that's on record where the businesses in the community now that's not owned by Inkster residents or people who live in Inkster, do we know what they give back to the city? Because we always giving them our money.
No, there's no record. A lot of them don't give anything back.
You serious?
I got people on council. Sandra Wiley go, hey, can I get if you go in the liquor store next to Starbucks, can I get a donation for Memorial Day Parade? No, get out. Straight up? Come on, man. I mean, they don't have to give you anything. They all gonna come in there and buy that liquor either way. That's how they treat you. They think we're monkeys, all right? And that's how they treat us. And as long as we keep going patronizing them, we are monkeys.
What it was, I was thinking like this. I goes up in these stores and ask them again and stuff, and they be like, sit like, all right, we do this and we do that. Some things that have changed. If you want to help us out, you can't operate on it.
Well, let me say this. That's where the NAN comes in.
Right.
We have a business action plan. Where if you, for example, one of our members brought to our attention that Dollar General on Inkster Road, is that Dollar General have trash on the back of their building, and it's just disgusting on Inkster Road. So what we do is the men in the NAN go and pay them a visit. Clean this up or else we're coming. That's why you have to be part of some kind of action. So if they go and ask them to clean it up and they don't, then we all go back there and get in front of their business. So if you have a business in the community that's mistreating you, come to give it to the business action plan. We say, hey, we have citizens that you're not treating right when they come in your business. Once we get involved with them, believe me, they're going to start donating. Because if the NAN or any activist organization say, hey, we're going to tell our people not to shop here, then guess what? What you need? What you need? So that's us. That's not the mayor, it's not the council, that's an organization.
I just asked if there's any record so I can know if it's a business they give back to our
For the Summerfest, Memorial Day Parade, we got a car show coming up. I can show you everybody who donated, every business. And they usually donate every year. The chamber donates, they come in heavy. Some of the businesses, 10,000, 5,000.
And as the NAN, we should tell people to shop with them.
Oh yeah, I can show you everybody donated, and you know who did donate.
Right. And so all of our organizations should be telling its members, that's who you shop with.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so we're going to get to, let's get to the, If you want to become a member of the National Action Network, it's $35. That includes your t-shirt. See me, Will, or LaTanya, and become a member. Please, we're going to get to the downtown development, and we're going to let you out here to watch football. Oh, we didn't collect. It takes a lot of money to raise a little hell. Let me hear you. It takes a lot of money to raise a little hell. We are going to take up our offering right now, and then the mayor is going to talk about the downtown development, and you can, we do have, I tell you what, while we're taking up, okay, so listen, while we're taking up an offering, we will allow 1 minute for community announcements. 1 minute if you're announcing anything. Okay, I know that candidate Aaron Sims is putting together a committee He has presented a proposal to the state for us to have a school. We will learn more about that on Thursday at Velma Oberman's church on Carlisle. What's the name of it? Christ Temple. We'll learn more about that on Thursday at 6 p.m. If you want to be a part of that committee to put a school back in our community, candidate Aaron Sims has submitted that proposal, and he's calling for anyone who wants to be a part of that to meet him at Christ Temple on this Thursday at 6 p.m. Is there any other 1-minute announcement while we're taking up offering? There will be Stephen. Go ahead.
Earlier, Mayor has spoke about the social equity program. It takes place September 12th. That's Thursday at 10 a.m. at the Booker Dozier Recreation Complex, and that's for the Marijuana Regulatory Agency.
So that's the state. Come to that, because we're creating the rules on how we're going to put that in place in this. So September 12th, 10 o'clock at the rec center. Yeah.
Councilwoman Mitchell.
We have a project getting off the ground called 100 Homes, 100 Families. And the purpose of this is to get people like bankers, etc., to come into Inkster and see what there is in the city of Inkster and other investors when it comes to homes that are available. The outshoot of that will be, we will be working with people that we want to buy homes in the city of Inkster. But on September 28th, there will be a bike-a-thon. And the bikers will ride through a selected area of the city so that they can see from firsthand what housing stock is available in the city of Inkster. And there's a lot of good housing stock. I passed a beautiful 2-story, I think 3-story building home this morning that would be gorgeous for a family. So you'll be getting more information about that, but just put it in your head. September 28th, there'll be a bike-a-thon for 100 families, 100 homes.
Okay, and I'll take this last opportunity to let you know that our other candidate Patrick Wimberly, will be at our next NAN meeting. In case some of you saw some controversy over the use of the mayor's candidate picture. We do not endorse, we have not shown any preference one candidate over the other. Candidate Wimberly has been invited in the past. He agreed to come, but they reneged because he was unable to make it. He has agreed to come on October 5th. You will be able to ask that candidate questions. We are the NAN. We ask the tough questions. He will be here October 5th. Thank you. Mayor Nolan will close us out. Mayor Nolan will close us out.
Just real quick. I just wanted to talk the downtown development visual. We're making some adjustments to it. I just want to tell you some of the changes. We are soliciting Aldi's and Myers to put a grocery store downtown. In addition to the condos, the apartments. We're looking at building a boutique hotel. We're going to change try to keep the old library, turn that into an event center. So you can have wedding receptions, meetings, seminars. You can stay at the boutique hotel. I'm looking for a restaurant to be attached to the boutique hotel to provide the food, the beverages. So those are some of the changes. We're going to create a boardwalk. We're going to move City Hall back downtown. We're going to put City Hall right next to the old Chase building. It'll go 3 stories up. So we'll have all our activity downtown. The revised renderings should be out the next 2 weeks. You'll see it. We're going to start, we also listen to you. We also realize that there's not a lot of communication going on, or it could be better, I guess we could say. We've heard that a million times. So we're going to start communicating with you through your water bills. We're going to start putting some information regarding the city on your actual water bill. So when the new rendering comes out, we can send it directly to your house. You can see what it looks like. You got it. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to watch the city council meeting. So we're going to try to take advantage of the fact that we're sending that out anyway and start putting stuff in it once a month. And if you have any other suggestions with respect to that, that's great. I'm excited about the downtown development. It's just a great opportunity. 4 or 5 different restaurant concepts in the restaurant incubator alone. And then another standing free restaurant. There's some discussion that may end up being the Stardust. That's all talk. We take the Stardust out of the old building that's falling apart, put them downtown in a brand new building, and keep that iconic business going. And then we have to support it, and I think other people will support it too. But some of it is visual, where it's located, what the building looks like. We put it downtown, make it beautiful. I think it's gonna be great. We're also looking at the entertainment district. The land has been purchased by a local business owner. So we're gonna start working on that. That's the old driving range over down the street between Middle Belt and Henry Ruff. So these things are coming to fruition. It's hard, these are big things, but they're gonna happen as long as we stay on the same course. So everybody, I don't wanna talk any further because we're almost through the first quarter. Yeah. I just wanna thank y'all for coming out, appreciate it.
And I do want to recognize Community Up who have partnered with the NAN. Their president is a new member.
Everybody who signed for that focus group, we're gonna do it we're gonna shoot for Friday next week. I'm gonna call everybody to remind you Friday next week is what we shoot for to get started. Huh? Okay, I can't get everybody, but I'm gonna try. But we're gonna shoot it.
Thank you.